Welcome, everyone, to It's Time to Excel. And some days, things just don't go out as planned. So I'm guessing that the little technology gremlins have been out on full force today. And if you just give me just one moment here, I'm going to be right back. Hello. And we have the technology gremlins under control. We have wrangled them in, which is exactly what I was hoping happened. We have wrangled the gremlins. And Latasha will be in here just momentarily as she's getting everything in for whatever reason. The gremlins ate the email link or the email with the link on it to be able to get her to go and join me. So that was her calling. So I knew you guys would just give me a moment to. But welcome to It's Time to Excel, where we inspire and we ignite the possibilities that are all around us. And part of those possibilities are wrangling gremlins, and we're getting much better at it. So she'll be here in a minute to join us because today we're going to be talking about jumping over the dollars to collect the quarters. Wonder what that's all about. Too often we have found that small business owners get so overwhelmed, and we've talked about various things. And there's Latasha. We have wrangled the technology gremlins.
Yes.
We got them. We got them. And we're just going to roll with it. Thank you so much, Latasha, for joining me. And I was just given an opportunity to, to say welcome to the world that we live in.
Yes. And
And the
thank you
gremlins,
for having me.
the gremlins are out running around with the email link, making it really hard for you to get here, but you wrangled them in and you are now here. So
I
thank
am
you so
here. I have defeated all the gremlins. So hopefully we
yeah,
won't have
they
any
live.
more technology issues.
It's always something, but I've welcomed everyone to, of course, to It's Time to Excel, where we inspire and we ignite the possibilities. I'm just so honored to have you here today. We've had the opportunity to work together over the last, I guess it's been last couple of months, really, about what,
Yeah.
10, 12 weeks? I don't know. They all ran together as we were going, but it was a great opportunity. And I'm so glad. So I'll just let you jump on in here. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the guest and kind of let
Sure.
them know who you are.
All right. Well, definitely. Thank you, Janet, again for having me. And it's just been a pleasure. So, my name is Latasha Best-Gaddy, and I'm the owner and chief strategist of Infinity Bridges Incorporated. We are a business consulting firm that really focus in on working with entrepreneurs in a very unique way. And so, we're very specific and concise, and I give homework. But I also, in addition to that business consulting, I also do a lot of trainings. My area of expertise is everything and all things finance and all things certifications. I do training and one-on-one business counseling around pricing as well. So if you really think about your business and you're wanting to grow and you're really looking to get your numbers together, think about me.
And that's perfect. And from what I've learned from you. So I have learned at your feet here. So I sure do appreciate that as we've been going. And it's been a lot of fun getting to know one another and getting a chance. And we come to a common agreement when we were doing this course that we were teaching together that a lot of times how often business owners jump over the dollars to go grab quarters. They completely
Yes,
miss the dollars. And
they
it
miss them.
boils down to what? One word, system, because they don't have
System.
the systems in place. So what are you seeing on that topic?
Well, first and foremost, I always say before you hire someone, integrate. So making sure that you've got your systems working for you. And really, you want to work smarter and not harder. So because sometimes you're jumping over those dollars and going after coins, it's because you don't see where your faults. And I'm gonna give a really great example. So one of the things everybody always want to post on social media, you want to have your website, but what about having a streamlined booking system? What about making sure that people can easily book with you? But then this is the important part. They can also pay. So there are several out there. So I'm not endorsing one or the other. So I won't say any names. But what I will just say is find a booking system that works for your business where your customers can book and find time on your schedule for whatever business or service that you want. Two, make sure that they have the ability to pay and use various payment methods that can get to you. And then here's the most important part: connect it to your business bank account.
There you go. I could not have said. I'm trying to sum it up here and type at the same time and still listen to what I need to do. So those gremlins are chasing me down too, and being able to pay. So yeah, these are going to be in the comments here, people. So if you got to, I'm trying to summarize here, but
Mhm.
and that makes it so simple. But you just rolled all that into one booking system can do it all. In the
Mhm.
respect all being, make it easy to get on your calendar,
Make it easy.
make it easy to pay you, and while
Yes.
you're at it, connect it to QuickBooks, and I can help you with that one.
There you go. So that's your area. That is not my area. So let
You're
me
going to
just
get them
say,
into
when I
that
say
one.
all things financial, I do not mean bookkeeping. So let me just say, I do not mean
This is
bookkeeping.
why we partner together, because we surround your folks with the folks that are going to support you, and that's exactly what I've seen with working with Latasha, and that has been such an adventure over this one. We have been able to share and go back and forth, but we all have the same common goal: is we want to make this simpler. I will not say easy. Every once in a while I catch myself and I'm like, it's not easy.
No.
Scratch that.
No, because
Because
then
it's
it
not
takes
easy.
time. So
It's
that's
simple.
the other thing. It takes time to implement these systems. So it's not necessarily easy, but it will improve your process and it will improve what you want to do. So again, no
Exactly.
matter what booking system it is, it will help you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I cannot tell you how many when I finally rolled mine out, and I've done a couple of different ones, just because of different timing, different features, different. You have to find what works for you. And I always say, what's the best system? The one you're going to use. That is always my answer. And you will hear me
Yeah.
that little mantra going, like that's going to be on a postcard here before long. It is, what are you going to use? And
Hmm.
for a while I used one, another one. I mean, because I tested them out, because everyone has their own little nuances. There's no perfect system. It
No.
is what it is.
Yeah.
But what can you do to streamline the process and make it simple? And the booking made a huge difference. You're not on the phone. Does this work? Does this work? Email back. Email for it. Here's my calendar. Go get it.
Go get it and pay for it.
And done. Done. So it's right there ready to go. And that makes such a big difference. So tool number one is a streamlined booking system, one that's going to make it easy to book on your calendar and one that's going to make it easy to pay. And they
Definitely.
exist. They exist. What else are you seeing out in this crazy world that we play in?
Well, there's another one that you and I have had a lot of conversations. You are probably the expert of all of them, but this is having a customer relationship management system, CRM. So this is a system to keep up with, again, no matter if you have clients, or which means you're providing a service, or you actually have products. So you also need an inventory system if you have products. But whichever business type you have, you want to keep up with what services you're offering. You want to keep up who those customers are that are buying from you. You want to engage with them. And again, I'm going to tell you, streamline, integrate, and being able to connect it. You can even schedule it in advance. You
Uh-huh.
can send it out. You can pre-format your emails. I mean, once you are able to really find that system, and there are many, again, I'm not going to name because I don't want to get in trouble, but I will just say there are many out here.
There are.
And being able to really, again, integrate that into your email system, create your templates for email follow-up, being able to put those systems together, again, makes you look professional. It also makes your life easier and you can track it and begin to really look at how well the business is doing. What do you think
And
about that one? Because I
that is
know this
perfect.
is
I'm
one that you have a
Yes.
lot more knowledge. You have helped me identify one for myself that
Yep.
I've been looking at.
Absolutely. You need a CRM. You need that CRM. And I'm going to tack on to my last, this tool number two is a CRM, but I'm going to tack on, because I also, if you go back to some prior weeks of It's Time to Excel, one of the things I explored was Zoho and a CRM. So one of the weeks we talked about that. So I actually gave some demos out of Zoho. So check it out. Go to a previous one, whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, they're all out there. They're on the YouTube channel. They're on, they're out there for those to see, just to give you a feel for what Zoho can do, because that just happens to be the one I'm using.
Yep.
So, and that's me. And I use another one as well. I mean, so there's a whole bunch of different ones, but specifically, a starting point. Zoho has a free version, which is an option, but the bottom line is exactly what Latasha said. Put it all in one place. Get those little sticky notes in one place.
Yeah. Oh, let's not
Because
talk
lately
about my
I've been
sticky
having
notes.
an issue with sticky notes and papers because they seem to be disappearing. And then next thing I know, they're scattered. I don't need a shredder anymore. I have a Winston. Like, it is crazy. And most people have seen Winston at some point in time. He has popped his head in here. That pup is like obsessed with papers.
Yes.
And it's crazy. But I mean, it was bad enough I got them stuck elsewhere. Now they go to Winston and they're never to be seen again.
Yeah. And it helps. So when we talk
It
about
does.
jumping over dollars going
Bingo.
after pennies, I want to tie that into that CRM because it's so important. Because guess what? If you don't have a follow up to say, hey, again, here's how you can get my products or services. This is how you can pay. This is, guess
Mhm.
what? You're missing out on opportunities.
You are. And what's the average? Do you happen to remember? I've heard different number over the years. I know how many. What's the new improved number of how many times you've got to follow up before you get that response?
I think it's 8, but don't quote me on
Yeah,
that.
I was thinking 7 is what I had heard last,
Okay.
but I know sometimes that changes a little bit. 7
Yeah,
times.
yeah, I heard
7.
8 this week, from
Okay.
someone else, but I am re-quoting someone, so
Me too.
so I think, but just think about it. People need to see it multiple times, and it's not just 1 or 2. So I
And it's
would
not
say
one
if
way
you're,
or another either.
yeah.
That's, I think, a key differential.
Oh, that's so good. That's a good one. It's not one size fits all, right? So they need to see it in different ways and formats and places. So making sure that your social media is consistent and
Mhm.
tagging, which is going into my tool number 3.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm going to say, I'm going to pop it in here, but I don't know who said it. Fortune's in the follow up, but we're going to quote it again. I know somebody said it. I don't know who to give
Ooh.
credit, but fortune is in the follow up.
Oh, I
And
love that. Oh, I like
that
that one.
you've got to have it. I just don't know who to give credit to it, but we're stealing it.
Well,
We're
at
giving
least we
credit
know
to
we're not
whoever.
saying it's ours. That's right. So at least we're not saying it's ours. So I think that's so key.
So rolling
Um,
into number 3.
So rolling into number 3 really is around social media integration.
Okay.
So of course, again, you want to be able to, as we just said, in terms of people need to see it at least 7 to 8 times, okay, if not more. So that means that you should be able to schedule in advance. Now, again, there are multiple softwares. I'm not going to name because I will mix up, and say,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
and mix one. So I don't want to miss one, but there are multiple social media scheduling softwares and tools to be able to integrate again among all platforms. So think about if you schedule one day and then you create your content for a whole month, and then it goes across all of your social media platforms and your website. That's an integration, and that's a way, again, that you can get the dollars and not the coins. Okay.
Exactly.
So being able to promote that and do that scheduling, that really, so now you're doing it without thinking about it. What do you think about
Absolutely.
tool
And
number 3?
that's what I did when I was doing my own social media before I got someone to assist me with that is I would take the last of the month usually, and I would spend a couple hours because I had to kind
Hmm.
of check my time and I figured out what do I want to do. If I wanted, say, 3 posts a week, there's 4 weeks, that's 12 posts. I got 12 posts to create.
There you
So
go.
I'd figure out what my theme was and I'd create myself 12 posts. And then I
Yeah.
took the scheduling tool and went ding, 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 ding.
Yep. And
And
it
then
and
I'd
it
have to deal with it
formats
because
it
I'm good.
against all of them. I love it. I will just show. Okay, so I said I wasn't going to name one, but there's one that we both like, Canva.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Canva.
Canva is really good to help you create the
The
images
designs.
and design those images and graphics. And then if you want to, it does have a version where it will link to your social media.
Yep. That is
All
an
right. I
option.
knew I said I wasn't going to name one, but I couldn't help it.
Well, we can share what we use. I mean, and I think
Yeah.
that's part of it is we're only sharing. And that's, I actually hit a bunch of them. Was it last? I don't know. The weeks have run together. Yeah, I was playing whack an app last week
I love it.
because there's so many apps, and all I did was share what I learned
Good.
about good, bad, or indifferent. And so I mean the one that I use, and I think I mentioned anyway, is Zoho Social because
Yep.
I that the Canva didn't have that feature when I originally
Yep.
invested
It
in it.
didn't.
but it's great for the designs. But all of my designs are done in Canva. I
Yeah.
mean, even the one that assisted me, she does them all in Canva for me, which, delegating her is wonderful. She takes care of it and puts them out there, and I don't have to worry. She does a great job. And that
Yes.
makes such a difference because she
Yes.
can do that and she schedules them out. So she does, what makes sense if we have a week coming up, or if we have, and I have an event coming up in April, she's already working on getting those posts ready to go. And guess what? They're getting scheduled. Something to make it simple. And the boys agree. Make it simple.
Right. They're like, yes.
The
I
boys
love it.
absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think so I use Canva and later.com. I do have a person that does all of that and then they link it, but I will just tell you, again, what one works, the one that works for you. And I like that we're sharing, what we've used and what we've seen. But the key is that integration, because again, you're jumping over dollars, because those are good ways while you're out there to really, and make sure you link to your site. So being able to do that, I think, is really key. All right, are we ready for tool number
You're gonna
4?
have to, because the boys are talking over me.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go on to tool number 4. Again, this is one that is Janet's level of expertise, but I'm gonna tell you. So you want to have a accounting and banking system integration. So I don't care what accounting system you use, whether it's QuickBooks, whether it's Wave, whether it's FreshBooks, Zero Accounting, but you want to make sure that your accounting system can link or connect with your business bank account and any other business funding account. So, for example, if you're collecting money through PayPal, you want to be able to connect it. Recently, I'll just tell you a little joke. I didn't realize I had 2 PayPal accounts. I thought both of them, I thought I had turned my personal into the business, and that was the only one I thought I had. I didn't realize I had a whole nother business account. But when I got ready to link it to my QuickBooks, I was able to link my PayPal business account, which I now know I have, but
Right.
and I was able to link my business bank account to it as well. And that again is another way to save time and money, because
Mhm.
again, that means that people can pay you quicker. So again, I'm about getting to the dollars and not the coins. Y'all hear me?
Exactly.
Getting to
Now,
the
granted,
dollars
the coins
and
will
not
add
the
up, but
coins. Right.
absolutely, we definitely
What
need
do you think
accounting.
about that, Janet?
Well, I'm an accounting nut. I mean, that was the one tool that I'm like, we got to get something in place. And I checked out different ones, and QuickBooks ends up being one that's a very common one out there because it can grow with you. And of course, most people know that that's the choice of mine. So folks that I work with are all in QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And of course, really diving into QuickBooks Online, it's been pretty cool to be able to branch out and do some accounting services as well. And,
Yeah.
working all of these pieces together has been a really interesting adventure. But you got to gather. And I did this even when I had Mary Kay. So 20 years ago, when I started, or over now, okay, I'm getting old, with Mary Kay, she said, 60/40 split. So I had an Excel sheet that did it for me. Like,
Yeah.
to me, that was just second nature. I built my little
Yeah.
Excel sheet up,
Oh yeah.
and every dollar I brought in, it got allocated, in basically a 60/40 type split. Now I took my 40 and I broke that out a little bit more because 60% we were taught to put back into our inventory to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the Mary
Mm-hmm.
Kay world, we were, before the virtual changeover, we kept a lot of inventory on stock because you did a party with me, you went home with your product that night.
Yep. That's right.
So
That's
that
right.
was just the way it worked, and it worked beautifully. And even when I jumped over into QuickBooks, I still have my Mary Kay QuickBook, because I converted up over to QuickBooks once I started doing it because I'm like, I got to keep it separate. But there's
Mm-hmm.
one key word that I want to bring back out: your business bank account. Business bank
Yes. Did you see?
account.
I kept saying that. I didn't
I
just say
know, and I'm bringing it up again.
yes. It is so. All right. So for everyone paying attention and listening, let me just give this one side tip. This is not one of the tools. This is just a bonus. It is important that you have a business bank account. And I'm saying that for a reason. Not a account that you use for the business, okay? Not an account that you label for the business. This is the bank has labeled it and classified this account as a business account. Now, there's probably a lot of great savvy people who say, I use Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal, or Stripe, or Square, or any of the other wonderful programs. Again, nothing against those programs. However, it is important that you have a FDIC insured business bank account. You can have those other accounts. However, it is important that you have a business bank account. Janet, you want to add to that? This is
You
the side
absolutely
tip.
see the guys are so wound up, they're agreeing with us.
They are. They really
Because
like this
you
topic.
have got to do this. I'm guessing Amazon's coming.
Uh-oh. And they are letting you know. Uh-oh, there they go.
You might have to carry on a conversation for a memento.
All right, I'll carry it on. All right. So the next tool is really, and this is a very important tool for your business, no matter whether you have products or service, is you need to understand your pricing strategy and model. And it's really important to really know what the service or product costs you, what you're selling it for, which is that gross profit margin in between. And then the important piece of it is where, if at all, if you choose or not choose to do discounts, what does that look like? And it's so important because everything is going up. We are in a huge supply chain disruption. I mean, from even if you are using internet, if you're using having to get items shipped, shipping costs is going up. I mean, no matter what your business is, I have not seen a business that has not been affected by this, and I'm calling it supply chain disruption.
Yeah.
But that affects your pricing. So don't think that you have to always be the lowest pricing model if you can't afford it. Now, again, if your margins can afford it, great. I'm
Go
not
for it.
knocking that or discounting that. However, if your model cannot, and I'll give a great example. So I had a food truck business, and the food truck business focused on chicken wings. So their business was you come and you get this basket of fried chicken wings, and I think it came with chicken wings and fries or something. However, the price of chicken has increased. Okay, the price of chicken increased,
Yeah.
and they were scared to increase their prices to the customer. But what ended up happening when we were looking at their numbers is well, now they won't almost, they were losing money because the price had increased so much. And then they didn't want to go to another meat item or another type of, they were doing chicken wings and they didn't want to go to another chicken part. I know this sounds really weird talking about it, but in
Okay.
terms of their products, and I said, well, maybe you want to look at, instead of chicken wings, look at the leg. Maybe the leg pieces you can get
More
at a better
cheaper.
pricing, and being able to offer that and then go up on your wing pricing because it's costing you more. And of course they thought, no, that's my customers are not going to do that. And I said, but guess what, you're losing money. You're paying them basically to
To
buy
come
your
in.
chicken.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, that's not a
So
business.
that's not a business. That's not a business. So, having that pricing strategy model is a great tool. Again, you can use some of these systems that we talked about before to create your pricing model. You can use, and what made me think about it was when Janet was talking about that 64, that, split,
60/40
and
split.
yeah, 60/40 split, and having that in an Excel or having that
Mhm.
somewhere where you
Somewhere.
can automatically calculate, and okay, if I go out and I'm buying chicken, again in my example, and I know that the price is more than it was the last time, unfortunately, over time, you can't keep your prices the same. And it's
Mhm.
unfortunate. And I'm not, and I know people want to make sure things are affordable, they're reasonable, but unfortunately, we have to also make sure that you're in a business to make a profit. So Janet,
Exactly.
I bet you have a lot of examples of
Oh
that.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, without profits, you ain't staying in business long. Just saying. US not getting a paycheck. So that's the whole reason of being in business. So we'll just cut it down to the chase there. But even like that 60-40 split, even in the simplicity of that, and just think about it. Well, that's a very simple example. We know we have inventory. I knew that if when I collected for the month, whatever my number was, so if I had $100 that came in, I knew that I had $60 to spend on inventory. Guess
Mm-hmm.
what I didn't do? I didn't overspend. Well, I shouldn't have overspent, and I did. I've never been in debt for my Mary Kay inventory because what I did is I invested in a little bit to get started, but then I had it paid off within a very short time because I had a plan in place.
Mm-hmm.
That was non-negotiable to me. So like it didn't. So I invested, but that was it for a very short time. But I knew that when I went to replenish it, either I had to make the sales or I didn't get it.
Yep.
But I knew how much I had to work with too. And that's the differential. So I knew I had $60. Just like when we talk about, setting up a different bank account. Like I run a couple of banks. As I start working with my clients, I encourage them to at least bump up to two. Because one of those accounts, and if you're running a payroll, it's going to be three. Like we want to segregate out some money so that when it's time to pay the bill, you're not stressed and pulling your hair out.
Yes.
It's
Especially
getting.
because we're getting ready to approach tax season. So
Mhm.
you want to make sure that you definitely are
Have
not
money set
stressing
aside.
about taxes and being able to do that. I think that's really key and
And that's
essential.
one thing I take off every single month. I move tax money out every single month so that when I know how much it is, I'm not panicked if I've got to come up with a chunk of change.
Yep.
And
I agree.
I made money. That's not a bad thing. But guess what? That means I owe money. So
Yeah.
that's not
I
such a bad
agree.
thing, but I don't want to be stressed when it comes due. So my prelim number, I'm like, okay, where are we at? So I made sure I had a conversation with my tax accountant and said, hey, I need to make sure I have enough money back. Where are we sitting?
Yep.
Here's the
That's right.
numbers as of right now at the end of the year. Like, do a really fast analysis for me and tell me how much because I need to make sure that money's back.
That's right. That's
And that's
exactly
what
it.
we did. I had an eyeball. I'm like, okay, we're good. Because did I budget right for the whole year? We don't know what's going to happen in the year. All you can do is do your best
Yeah.
and
That's all
touch
you can do.
base. Like halfway through the year, I question it. Okay, am I on target? Okay, we are. So then at the end of the year, I touch based again. They weren't done. The finance was November. My numbers weren't final, but they were enough to get a good idea.
Yeah.
And that's why we're saying thank you, Tyson. We appreciate Tyson's joining us. He's one of our visitors here that's here. So great. Thank you so much for joining us here, sir.
All right. Hi, Tyson.
And then, but that's it. We've got to figure out how we can do that. And I encourage you, take the opportunity to work this stuff out. But you've got to have the systems and tools in place to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking. So is there any more tools that we want to talk about? That
I think those are the
was
big
the five.
tools. Yeah, that was five. I don't want to give them too many tools, but I will just say if you do these five things, you will definitely start collecting your dollars and not your coins. And that's really the whole premise of the talk today is to really
Yeah.
think about how do you really make sure that you're collecting the dollars you need to grow, to sustain, and to really plan your business. And really, because a lot of people are what we say jumping over those dollars and really getting coins. So we want you to really make sure that you're getting the dollars and not the coins. And if you think about these five tools, I think that will definitely help you in doing that. And of course, there's always other things to think about, but these are those top five that I think are
Perfect.
key. What do you think, Janet?
Absolutely. I think that was, we had talked a little bit beforehand, so we kind of had an idea of what direction. So what's the best way? If folks have some questions, I'd love to at least, how's the best way to get a hold of you? I'm going to jot that in the chat as well.
Sure. Great. So there's two ways. So one, they can go to my website, which is infinitybridges.com. And then the second, you can always email me at hello@infinitybridges.com.
Okay, so let me get that typed in because apparently my internet's going slow because the gremlins have come to my house. Thank you very much for throwing them out.
I hope they don't, because I tell you, my internet was shaky today too. So
It
that's
was
why I was like,
awful yesterday and today. I couldn't even get into stuff. It was crazy. So I'm grateful we're still on board here. It's just taking forever for it to go. Like I see that the website kicked now. Okay, there we go.
yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, so definitely those are two great ways you can reach out and we'll follow up. And from my website, you'll be able to connect with me, book time with me. You can see any other upcoming events that we have going on. And then you can email me directly there and get a response for more information as well.
There we go. It's
Oh,
listed
I
up
love it.
there
There it
at
is. It's showing up.
infinitybridges.com. So
I
connect with
love
Latasha as we're out there. I said, usually I should have had that in there, but it was taking forever to get uploaded.
I tell you, that's all
It's
right.
all good.
Technology,
We're
it
just going to
doesn't work.
wrangle these little gremlins in. I'm going to tell the boys they need to go play with the gremlins because they're driving me crazy.
I know. That's what we got to say is just tell them to play with the gremlins.
Yep. Yeah. Problem is they keep inviting them back in. So I may have.
Yeah, we got to
But
make sure
yes,
they stay
connect
out.
with Latasha. It's an amazing opportunity. And I really want to encourage folks. Have a conversation. You can do the hello at infinitybridges.com or just go straight to your website. And I know you can connect there as well. And I'm going to bet there's a booking tool on that
There is
website.
a booking tool.
And
There
I
is a
encourage you to
booking
do
tool on that
just
site. So you can book for 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours with me.
there you go.
And it goes directly to my calendar. So once again, I have used all of these tips that I am talking about.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Keep in mind, everyone, that it is definitely your time to excel. So we want to encourage you and inspire and ignite all the possibilities around so that you too can excel. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. Those on the replay, thank you for checking out. Leave us a comment or two and definitely reach out to Latasha. Have a
All
great
right.
day.
Have a great day, everybody.